We said a company secretary is an advisor to the board.
To the board, yeah.
The day I got my appointment letter, I had less than a month to go to get my firstborn.
You were pregnant?
I was pregnant.
Heavily?
So, heavily pregnant. So did you love trust accounts?
I loved it. So actually, I was the teacher for my classmates because a lot of them hated trust accounts in School of Law. So what to do, we'll go to the grass.
They were in my WhatsApp group.
Yeah. So then, I would just tell them. What I don't remember is whether I charged them for the service. I should have asked for something. Yeah, you should have asked them for something, for tutorship.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I'll tell them, for every debit, there has to be a credit. So make sure when you put a number on this side, credit, you have to debit on the other side.
Absolutely.
So that it balances.
Yes.
And they used to love me. They used to call me mwalimu wa hesabu. But I really enjoyed it. And I passed all of them first round. A lot of them struggled.
Yes.
So some actually had to repeat the trust accounts paper.
You know, I thank God that I also passed all of them first time.
Yeah.
What my father taught me is, even if you hate something, put your best foot forward.
Yeah, put effort.
Put effort.
Yes.
So I thank God that I was able to ace it the first time. I passed all the papers the first time. But I never loved trust accounts.
There's a lesson there for the young people. Because, some people ask, what is the relevance of, mathematics and accounting to a lawyer? See, I'm going to become a lawyer. Why do I need accounting?
Yeah.
But then, when you look at the practice of law and all the other offices you can do with a law degree, you will need to, first of all, manage clients' money, manage your own office if you set up on your own like I did for a while. Their expenses, their incomes and revenues, their all those dynamics, they matter. And you're also managing money that belongs to somebody else. So it is very relevant. And that's why we keep on saying, step out of your comfort zone, because law is your comfort zone, but make sure you can do accounting, you can, talk about HR, you can talk a little bit about technology, all those things matter. So that's the lesson.
Absolutely. And also, Mary, as you say, for company secretaries, we said a company secretary is an advisor to the board.
To the board, yeah.
There are financials which are going to come to the board.
Yes.
You must understand those numbers.
You must know what, all those debits and credits.
You must understand those debits and credits. You must understand how the business makes money.
Yeah. The value drivers.
The value drivers for each business. Yeah.
Is the company sustainable?
Absolutely.
Or do you need to advise on something?
Absolutely.
You're also responsible sometimes for reporting to the regulator, some returns and all that.
Yes.
It is important
that
we learn all these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's good. Thanks for clarifying the role.
Thank you.
So please, next time, don't tell me the company secretary is the one who answers the boss's calls. No. It's far from that. Absolutely, it's a bit more prestigious to be a company secretary.
And it's great.
Now, tell us about your interest in governance, because now we know you as a corporate governance specialist and expert, and I know for sure you love it with,
I love it to bits.
Yes. So tell me about that. How did that happen?
After law school, Mary, I don't know how to tarmac. I never tarmacked.
You never looked for a job?
I never looked for a job.
Wow, you're lucky.
Because I got my first job when I was in law school.
Wow.
I was UAP. It was then called Provincial Insurance. And I got the job as their first company secretary.
Wow.
Head of legal. Head of legal. They didn't have a legal department before me. They asked me to come in and set up that office. And I worked directly under the managing director and the deputy. Mr. Mugoe, James Mugoe, if you know him, was the deputy. Michael Wenbach was the MD. Oh. Those two gentlemen taught me a lot about governance. We didn't have a company secretary for some strange reason, but they taught me a lot about governance. I started to, it's like my love for governance was reignited. Remember at home?
Yes.
It was all governance.
You had the roots already.
Absolutely.
Yes, the foundation.
So I worked at Provincial Insurance for 5 years. Then I was recruited into Shell. Actually was headhunted into Shell, the company. And I was headhunted into Shell to become the deputy of the company secretary of Shell then.
Yes.
When I joined Shell, that was in 97. 3 months after that, the then company secretary left. And I had not done company secretarial before, but the managing director told me, you're going to become the company secretary. I'm like, okay, this is it. This is what I have always wanted.
Were you excited?
Of course I was excited. I was excited, but I was scared. Now let me tell you what was scaring me most. When she left, she had not done the minutes for the last board meeting. What? And she left and she didn't do the minutes for the board meeting. So the managing director calls me and says, Catherine, George Minor, if you know him.
I remember George.
George Minor calls me and says, Catherine, you're going to be the company secretary, and you and I are going to do the minutes for the last board meeting. I'm like, I didn't attend. I don't even know what went on. And he said, we are going to do the minutes.
We need minutes.
We need minutes. We need the board to approve the minutes. I was in that meeting. There are board papers here. You and I are going to sit together and piece together the minutes. So again, the formal governance that I loved so much, that was triggered under Mugui and Mike Owenberg, was again re-triggered with my current managing director, George Minor. So I became company secretary of Shell a few months after I joined. But let me tell you another story about Shell. It was a very interesting join because when I was headhunted into Shell, the day I got my appointment letter, I had less than a month to go to get my firstborn.
You were pregnant?
I was pregnant.
Heavily?
So heavily pregnant with my firstborn. Not heavily, but I used to...
1 month is heavily.
But I was very small. I used to weigh myself and wonder, where is this baby? I had made mother dresses. By the time he was not coming, but anyway, there was a baby. So I go to the HR of Shell. He was called Olesapai. He passed on. May God rest his soul in peace. And I said to him, I am a month to go, less than a month to go, actually 3 weeks to go.
Yes.
Can I just continue with my current role, go on maternity leave, and then I'll come?
When I come back, I start the new role.
I'll start the new role. He's like, no, we need you now. I'm like, less than 3 weeks. He said, no, come. So guess what? He told me, come. When you need to go on maternity leave, you will go, and we will pay you. So first and foremost, they paid the notice period
to
UAP because they didn't want me to give notice, so they paid.
So they wanted you immediately, like today.
Like today. So I come, I joined on 1st of December 97, and on 23rd of December 97, I was having my firstborn.
Wow.
Yes.
Just a few weeks later.
A few weeks later, I'm having my firstborn. I'm like, Sapai, I told you this. He's like, it's okay. Just have the baby. We will wait for you.
How long did you stay in UAP?
I stayed in UAP for 5 years. And it was very intentional also. Because remember those days, you only got your employer's contribution of, those pension funds after 5 years.
Yes.
So I got my employers.
So you are now counting year 5. I'm gone.
And luckily, then I was headhunted at that time.
Yeah, then you got another job.
I got another job and I went into Shell.
I'm asking you this because we are trying to uncover the reason why a company like Shell will tell you, come on board, and yet you are not available for the next 3-4 months. Yes. We are ready to wait for you.
Yeah.
What makes a company do that to you? What are the traits that you must exhibit for a company, an employer, to get to that point where they say, we are willing to pay notice, first of all, for you to move now, and you're pregnant, 3 weeks to go, but we'll wait for you. Tell us.